All right, here we are. Today's a new project. Like I really needed another one, but you know, that's how it goes. This one's 54 Chevy, a 150, not a Bel Air like everyone thinks that that's the only thing that exists, but this is the 150 base model trim. Real cool car. Dug out of a chicken house about 30 minutes north of here a while back, and just finally getting time to start on it. And brought my helpers along with me today. Ellis, she's here helping, mainly moral support. Andrew,
yes, sir.
E30 Life,
Okay.
digging him out of his turbo hole, and going to work on something American. So, quick walk around. Looks like it had one repaint sometime in its life. Got some steelies I threw on there off of my Chevy. I mean, this is just your, you know, super old car that was in a barn. It's had some kids shoot the windows out. Ratty interior. You know, all that's going to get addressed. This is going to be a dailyable, vintage style hot rod. Got some cool plans for it. Going to get some fresh trim. Going to get a cool motor. Something odd, something different. Today, we're working on pulling out the drivetrain, or at least the rear end and stuff, and upgrading all that. So, stay tuned, and we'll make this thing a lot cooler. Okay, so here we are, end of day one on the 54 Chevy project. And in typical fashion, I forgot to record as we were doing it, but we're going to do better. There's going to be plenty more days of working on this thing. So here we are. Okay, we're going to let Andrew explain what all went down today.
Oh yeah. So we got a 2-inch block.
2-inch block.
And what's the company who makes the flip kit? Who makes the axle perch kit?
So it's Posey's Speed Shop.
Speed Shop makes the axle locator.
Link below.
So we got what, a total of, between those two things, probably 4.5 inches.
3.5.
3.5 inches. Plus we took 3 leaves out.
Took 3 leaves out of the pack.
So this is just set in there right now. I would say it's down probably about 5 inches.
Oh, it has to be.
Sag.
Has to be. Has to be.
A nice, good leaf.
So I mean, you
flat
can
leaf
see
spring.
these are 15s with a 235/60, I think. And I mean, we're tucking a good 1.5 of wheel, probably.
Yeah. Plus, look at this. Look at this travel we got for going down the road.
Oh yeah.
That's nice.
Oh yeah. We can hit all the speed bumps, no problem.
We did have one minor problem, which was this is a 99 S10 4-wheel drive rear end. The calipers are hitting the frame right now before you really get into the travel at all. So we're gonna have to pocket the frame a little bit, and that'll give us some clearance to actually have some rear brakes on it. Because as much as I'd love to drive it with no rear brakes, I'd rather have them on.
It makes rolling burnouts a lot easier.
Yeah, you
but
can do real easy brake stands.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have rear brakes on it, so that was really the only problem we ran into.
Yeah, it wasn't bad with the help.
Rusty hardware.
Wasn't terrible. I mean, the shocks came right off. We didn't have to torch anything. I mean, Andrew spent about, I don't know, an hour.
Getting the brake.
Yeah, I had every bolt out of the back end by the time he got the first cotter pin out, but he did have to mine through 60 years of grease and oil. But we got it out, man, and it just sits so much better. I mean, we'll kind of come to the front to see. I mean, it definitely has a gasser rake to it for now, but we're going to fix that. For the front, we're going to go with a Speedway Mustang 2 kit, drop spindles, disc brakes, you know, the quintessential hot rod stuff. And that'll bring the front down. And then we'll see if we're happy with the back. I mean, it's about as low as it can practically go without notching the frame, or at least notching it up, not in for clearance. And I think it's going to be a good height. We'll get around here at the back. And it's got, I mean, it's got plenty of clearance. You know, once we have a bumper on, you can tell a little better. But, I mean, it's a good height. And it was a really easy swap. I mean, like I said, big shout out to the guy at Posey. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. I feel terrible. But really, really informative. You know, pointed me in the right direction of the stuff I needed. And didn't try to oversell me like a lot of places will. So, really appreciate everything they did. I'll be definitely calling them back for some shackles and bushings. They were a little whooped. But yeah, man, it went together pretty good considering all the information I had was over the telephone from a guy I never met and what I read on forums. And I don't trust those often. So, yeah, I mean, now we have a 342 locker disc brake, and now we got to move on to the front. So, I think it's a pretty productive day.
Pretty productive day. Very little problems for working on old cars.
Which is a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
So, awesome. Well, that's it for day one. We'll be back at some point.
2-3 years from now.
No. We're going to be cruising. The goal, loose goal.
Oh, yeah. Heavy loose. What's it going to be?
The turkey run in November.
Oh, that's easy.
November, running, driving, stopping, steering, buffed, Mexican blankets over the seats. This is nothing fancy, folks. This is going to be a true driver. And once I get it back up in the air, we're going to document this rear end swap stuff a little better. I'll show you what we did, what we had to do once I get everything pocketed and clearanced. And so I want this to be an informative video on how to budget build a true traditional style hot rod. And you'll see more of why I call it traditional style when we get to the drivetrain or the motor and trans and you know, the wheel and tire setup. You know, we'll see that in the future, but it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool, and it may be his one day.
Ah, shit.
Or maybe he'll actually build one and we can cruise the same car together.
I'll build my own. I need a different drivetrain.
Well, you know, not all of us are as cool as you, but whoa, we have goals. So anyway, Fast Times, Good Friends, Andrew, E30, Libin.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, until next time.